I'm telling you, there is a recipe for popularity, and anyone remotely successful in show business knows there is. To what degree you're willing to commit to it, now that's another story. Hi girlies, welcome to Debrief Sesh, where we talk about dating, pop culture, and dating in pop culture. Every time a season of Singles Inferno airs, there's always a fan favorite. It was Song Jia in the first season, Nadine in the second, and Hyeseon in the latest. They have very different personalities, styles, hobbies, and ideal types, but there are certain things that they do have in common. I personally find these qualities to be very admirable and worth exploring. I don't want any of you to misunderstand the content of this video and assume it's a guide to get male attention and validation. Come on, right now there is a movement of decentering men, and I've been on that train for a long time now. So what is this video going to teach us? There's a reason why I am much more interested in Nadine than Silky. They are contestants from the same season, and Silky is much more popular with the men on the show. At one point, Silky and Nadine were even competing against each other, as both were interested in one guy. So this is not about getting picked by guys. Not really. Sure, in reality, the most popular girls do get picked by men, like Jia in the first season and Hyeseon in the third. But the more you focus your energy on getting picked, the less energy you have to invest in your own development, which ironically results in worse dating experiences, aka not getting picked. Do you understand the irony of it all? So this video is going to guide you to popularity the right way. If you're just here to win over some guy's affection, don't worry, there's something for all of us, but be ready to change your mind. Without further ado, let's dive right into our debrief sesh. Number 1. Being pretty is a state of mind. There are certain images that would probably pop up in your head when the word popularity is sounded out, but most of us would immediately associate popularity with physical attractiveness. To be well liked, you have to be, first and foremost, easy on the eyes. Popular girls are physically attractive, period.
여름 되면 바닷가 가서 하는 편이에요. 그리고 바닷가 나간 김에 조깅하고.
Here's where we hit a wall, though. Does that mean the only way for us to ever be popular, we have to chase after the beauty standard? That is an impossible mission. The standard for female beauty changes constantly, periodically, and geographically. Try picking out your least favorite physical feature. You have your answer? It actually doesn't matter what it is. If you can go as far back in time and as far away from your birth country as you want, chances are you'd find a period in history of mankind or a specific region on Earth where women kill to have that characteristic that you dislike. Even in dating shows like Singles Inferno, the public's most well-liked contestant is not always the most conventionally attractive. In season 2, Silky is usually referred to as the most popular love interest for the man on the show, and it seems like her appearance matches the Korean beauty standards very well. However, after the show was aired, the one female contestant who gained the most followers on their social media accounts and had the most positive coverage in all kinds of news outlets, it's Nadine. Similarly, in season 3, the one contestant who seemed to meet the Korean beauty standard perfectly was Kim Gyo-ri. At one point, she was even referred to as every man's ideal type.
한 분은 완전 전형적으로 남자들이 좋아할 느낌의 그런 느낌.
But still, she did not manage to win over the public, proving that an outstanding appearance is not all that matters. The season 3 fan favorite is also the only female contestant who has never taken part in a beauty pageant, Hyeseon. Now, I'm not trying to say that Nadine and Hyeseon are not pretty, conventionally or not. Whether or not anyone thinks they are pretty, it's not the point here. What I'm trying to say is that if you're chasing the imaginary beauty standard, you're never going to win. Nobody has. Not even the most well-liked female contestants on Netflix dating shows. The one kind of reality TV whose success literally depends on how conventionally attractive its contestants are. If you open another dating show that is filmed in another continent, you can see how different the beauty standards are by how different the contestants look. The same kind of experience applies when you live in different places in the world for an extensive period of time. I was born and raised in Asia, but spent my most definitive years in Europe and later moved to the US. So I can absolutely guarantee that the more open-minded, well-rounded, and well-informed you are, the more you realize what a freaking scam the beauty standard is. It was created by the patriarchy to make women collectively feel bad and focus on anything but their own development and self-worth. So when they say that everyone is beautiful, it's not just politically correct, but also objectively true. That doesn't mean that you have to find everyone beautiful. It means that anyone could be found beautiful by someone, somewhere, at some point in time. But I'm not here to sell you some modern day positivity bullshit that denies your feelings of unsafe, insecure, or pressured when you do not meet the conventional beauty standard where you live at the time that you're alive. Pretty privilege is real, and you're allowed to feel bad about not having it. I'm a firm believer that there needs to be a balance between acknowledging how bullshit the patriarchy is and taking advantage of it while it's still well and alive. I mean, as women and or queers, we have been disadvantaged by the patriarchy for a very, very long time. We might as well make use of whatever little it has to offer to make our lives better and easier. Do you understand my point of view? It's very nuanced, but I assure you, once you find that sweet spot, your life will become so much more in harmony with the rest of the world. So, understanding how bullshit the beauty standard is, check. Understanding how we still want to meet the beauty standard as women living in this yet to be abolished patriarchy, check. The real question, what do we do now? Did you notice what all of these popular women have in common? They all excel at self-care in their own ways, of course, because everybody is different. When we were watching Jia, Nadine, and Hyeseon, it took us no time to recognize what they enjoyed because they freely expressed their excitement, fascination, or simply a welcoming attitude to people and things that they prefer. Take their fashion as an example. When you think about it, they all have very distinctive ways of dressing that reflect their personality really well. Jia, for example, loves luxury fashion, obviously, highlighting her lips when doing her makeup and wearing her hair down, which works perfectly with her calm, slow, and demure personality. Nadine likes chic, close-fitting outfits that show off her collarbones, paired with minimal accessories, which go very well with her genuinity and adorable aloofness at times. Hyeseon, on the other hand, likes wearing simple, monochrome fits with cutouts, which reflects her outgoing, cheerful, but also honest ways of communicating. Obviously, there is no rule that you have to dress in any certain way with regards to your personality. That's not what I'm trying to say. The point here is that fashion is a way of self-expression, just like every other decision when it comes to self-care. Have you ever seen a nice blouse on some influencer and thought that you have to have it and then get disappointed when you actually do because it just doesn't look as good on you? I'm pretty sure Nadine wouldn't look as good in Jia's fashion, and Jia wouldn't be so comfortable styling his son's clothes. Fashion, just like any other form of physical, mental, or spiritual self-care, is supposed to be personal. What do you want for yourself? What product do you choose for yourself? What feels good to your body? And what gives you energy? All of these questions need a very personal answers that require a deep level of self-understanding and appreciation.
나 이거 잘 어울리지?
저 나하고 저 비슷한 색깔 아니야?
In that way, being pretty is a state of mind. It's not about how you look, it's about how you feel and what to do so that you will feel pretty or pampered, spoiled, like you deserve and attract all the best things in the world. Now, you're probably thinking, but the women on the show probably got cosmetic surgery done. If not, they would wear makeup to make themselves prettier. In their own way, they are trying to meet the beauty standard too. And that just further proves my point that even in your pursuit of the beauty standard, you need to pick and choose what feels good and know what doesn't. Take exercising for another example. As women, we're probably aware of how much the beauty standard expects us to weight, and most of us would associate that weight with a regular exercising schedule. But here's the thing, people have different ways to stay active. Did you remember that Song Jia is a traditional dancer in South Korea? Nadine, on the other hand, loves different types of sports, motorbikes, and car racing. Hyeseon goes to the gym regularly and is also very sporty. They look great because they exude a confident energy, and they exude such energy because they do things that energetically feed them. If trying to meet the beauty standard gives you joy and motivation in life, do it, but don't get frustrated when you're not doing the exact same things that other women are doing. What they choose to do is not going to be what makes you feel good. What matters is the authenticity in every smallest decision that shows consideration to your own body and mind. That way, you're getting prettier in a sustainable fashion, meaning you're not heavily affected by the fear of missing out on what other people are doing with their lives. So, when people say that Jia, Nadine, and Hyeseon are pretty in their own ways, it means that you could be just as pretty, but you have to find your own way. Number 2, find a provider within you. Popular girls are usually with provider men. That's what we could easily assume, right? Since their standards are so high and they have so many options, they would probably go for a man who treat them like a princess. That's not always the case though. In fact, the most popular women that I've known all my life have a at least one terrible long-term relationship where the guy is just not it. So what's the answer here? People always talk about how to raise your standard, right? But sometimes we just fall for the wrong guys and we can't really control our feelings, at least not always. So telling girls to just raise your standards is as helpful as telling a sad person to cheer up or smile. It's all performative if the woman in question does not understand her worth nor truly believe that she deserves better. So this is the answer for us. First, we find out what makes us feel pampered and spoiled. Then we become our own providers and give ourselves exactly what we want. That way, when a guy comes along, we don't feel like we need them to fill up a void in our lives.
신경도 안 썼는데 솔직히 진짜.
To be treated like a princess by anyone at all, you have to treat yourself like one. And you can't do that without having sufficient finances. You need a lifelong career. What I absolutely adore about the most popular girls on Singles Inferno is that you can just tell they are ambitious women. For the longest time, we have associated the word ambitious with either a man or a negative connotation for women. But time has changed. And now, the most popular women on the most popular dating show can be the most ambitious too. Song Jia is a content creator, influencer, and model. I feel that it's not that different from a lot of other contestants on the show, but we could still tell that she's more ambitious than just selling her look. She's actually very strategic about her influencer career, sharing content that centers self-care and self-love mindset.
성격인가 봐. 나 자신을 믿고 나는 언제든지 이거 하나 실수했다고 인생이 뭐
Participating in Singles Inferno is a strategic move too, as she manages to keep her image consistent with her whole personal brand. Soft but confident, approachable but high maintenance. Nadine and Hyeseon, on the other hand, are ambitious academically. Nadine is literally a Harvard graduate. She also got into Yale and Princeton, by the way, who is set on her career in neuroscience. Hyeseon is now studying for her master's degree in biomedical science at Durham University. You look at these women and you can tell they have a strong drive to succeed in life, and that's something that I find so inspiring. We talked about the importance of feeling pampered, spoiled, and deserving of all good things, but that should not be all that our lives revolve around. We also want something that makes us feel empowered and challenged, and that is rewarding to our progress. The most conventional way to find it is within our career. That's where the progression naturally and consistently happens for us. Plus, that's how we can afford cost of living and maintain our self-care routine. It's not about being rich, it's about being able to maintain yourself. This feeling of independence would grant you the kind of confidence that is so charming and effortless at the same time. And it is exactly this kind of confidence that helps you remain calm and detached even during the worst dating experiences. In the back of your mind, you'd always know that whatever happens in your love life, you got your back. You have other things going on other than just romance, and you're excited for them. You are proud to be high maintenance because it is you who are maintaining yourself. When you watch Jia, Nadine, and Hyeseon on Singles Inferno, there is a shared energy between them, which is both confident and humble. When you truly are confident, you wouldn't even have to act superior. In fact, the most confident people are humble and friendly because they know that each individual is unique and valuable in their own ways. More importantly, they know that they are unique and valuable themselves, and no one could replace them. This mindset helps our girls explore their options without fear of rejection and gracefully carry themselves through difficult situations. Hyeseon has to be the best example for this. Her confrontation with Kwan Hee was viral all over the internet at one point because people were so impressed with her ability to communicate her frustration while maintaining her composure.
어제 저녁 먹을 때 그리고 오늘 아침까지만 해도 나가서 어떻게 한 해 만에 하는 대화까지 나누고도 그렇게 하고도 민지 씨가 신경이 쓰인다면 난 민지 씨한테 가는 게 낫다고 생각해. 나는 그렇게까지 헷갈려 하는 사람이랑 별로 이어지고 싶지 않아.
She's living proof that you can genuinely like someone and be ready to walk away if they mess up, aka not being able to provide you with the emotional support and safety that you want. Jia, on the other hand, it's a bit more straightforward about how high maintenance she is. She openly admits during her Singles Inferno interview that a man's money is one of the most important criteria when she dates someone.
성격도 보고요. 그 능력도 보고 잠깐
She expects her man to be able to afford her, and while that might come across materialistic to some people, I find it to be completely fair. She's already doing the maintenance that she needs, so why should she settle for less when finding a partner? Nadine is the only one in the three who didn't walk home with a partner, but that doesn't make her any less interesting. She gracefully accepted rejection and never got frustrated over a guy losing interest in her. The only time that she was mildly frustrated was when she's worried if Dongwoo might misunderstand her, as she didn't seem talkative the first time they had a conversation. Still, that was far from a negative experience. Compared to Gyuri or Minji in season 3, Nadine clearly had a better way of handling rejection. Gyuri went off on Minwoo after taking her mic off and later giving unnecessary comments on both Minwoo and Hyeseon.
잠깐만 얘기해도 돼, 민우랑?
안 돼. Minji, on the other hand, cried on the helicopter while her love interest was on a date with someone else. And later, she sank into disbelief when he didn't choose her. These behaviors stem from a lack of detachment from romantic experiences. Number 3, let him know who he's competing against. Yourself. Now, I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying and assume that I'm trying to sell you a glamorous version of the single life. You don't need a man to be happy. Screw them. No, that's not what I'm trying to say, okay? It might be true that we don't need a man to be happy, but it's true that we want a man. A good one. Someday. If not, we wouldn't be watching YouTube videos about dating and Netflix series like Singles Inferno, right? Your desire to find a partner, it's valid. You can be single and wish that you weren't. That does not make you weak, anti-feminist, or pathetic. But preferring to be in a relationship is very, very different from settling for a shitty one just so you can call yourself taken. The women on the show went on the show for a reason. They're all singles and they want love. Sure, there's always a commercial aspect to dating shows, meaning their main goal might be publicity or popularity, and that's fair. But what I like about Singles Inferno, especially its first 2 seasons, is that you could tell that the contestants were pretty sincere about their intention to date. They didn't cause any unnecessary drama, and they made an effort to communicate with each other whenever there was a conflict. This gives off a very different vibe compared to what we're used to in Western dating shows, with more controversial and drama-inducing formats such as Too Hot to Handle, Perfect Match, Love Island, etc. Watching Singles Inferno, we could tell that some of the contestants are genuinely interested in each other, although we don't know for sure whether that interest develops into a deeper romantic connection later. Nevertheless, we can safely establish that Jia, Nadine, and Hyeseon did want to leave the island with a good partner. They all made effort in their own ways to let their potential match know that they're interested. Let's start with Hyeseon, because she's arguably the most forward and active woman of the 3. She's a very caring and affectionate woman, and we can see it repeatedly in her interactions with both the man and the women on the show.
몰라도 너한테는 얘기를 뭐 안 하고 싶었는데 뭐 여기 왔으니까 해야지 어떻겠어.
Her match in the finale was Gwan-hee, and throughout the length of the show, we see multiple occasions where she directly and indirectly expressed affection for him. At the same time, she allowed herself to explore other options and had her own ways of expressing her interest in Wernick too. She picked him to go on a trip with her to paradise, and later in an interview, told him that she thought they had the best chemistry. Nadine is a little bit more reserved, but her honest and genuine nature helped her express affection in an adorable way. When she talks to someone she's interested in, she lets herself speak more freely and ask thoughtful questions to get to know her potential mates.
아 괜찮아? 근데
오케이.
햇빛 있는 거 괜찮아?
여기 완전 오픈. 저는 오히려 저 태닝한다는 마인드.
괜찮은데?
오케이.
Song Jia is the most passive woman of the 3, but we could see that her dating style successfully attracted the most men. What I really like about her is that she pays close attention to her partner whenever they spend one-on-one time with each other. That's why there is a certain intensity in her looks that makes men blush, because you can tell that she's fully in the moment and she pays attention to you.
뒤졌어요. 족발가.
괜찮아요?
네, 괜찮아요.
완전 빨간.
She also remembers their conversations and uses those details to keep their interactions interesting. For example, in her first interaction with Hyunjung, they talked about ideal types, and she shared that she usually liked older men. Later, when she had a chance to write him a note, she simply wrote oppa, which is the Korean word you use to address older brothers or boyfriends. Very short but effective, right? So they all have different ways of approaching their potential partners. But what do they all have in common? The answer is simple. They understand that the men are competing against themselves, not each other. Every time they make an effort, they expect something in return. When the affection is not reciprocated, they gracefully let it go. It's not about pitting men against each other so that they would compete for you. It's about understanding how you want to be loved and let them go if they don't meet your expectations. People often avoid discussing expectations, realistic or not, especially early on in the relationship, because it implies that you have big feelings for your partner. That's actually not true. You discuss what you need early on because you are looking out for yourself, because you love yourself. That's why you want to filter out all the men who are not able to provide what you need. Period. This mindset allows you to exude a loving, caring energy.
안 추워요? 저 담요. 이거. 아니야, 넌 이거 쳐봐요. 나 갈게.
담요 하나 더 있네.
또 있어. 아니야. 나 뛰어갈 거야.
When you're in a calm, confident, and loving energy, there's no need to act superior to your fellow contestants. Hyeseon especially had a harder time being sweet and soft because all of the women in season 3 were such feisty go-getters, but her caring and warm personality still shines through.
근데 예쁘시다 그랬는데 님도요 이렇게 해야 되는데 그냥 받기만 하시네.
We're nearing the ending of this debrief sesh, so I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I'm telling you there is a recipe for popularity, and anyone remotely successful in show business knows there is. To what degree you're willing to commit to it, now that's another story. Some people don't want to do all the soul-searching work and choose to become popular the performative way, meaning they perform self-care the way everyone else is doing, they choose the creative careers that everyone else is choosing, and they date men whom everyone else thinks are great. All of this without looking deep within themselves and seeing what they truly need. You can obtain popularity like another trophy in your life without being able to like yourself. It's going to feel like an endless race where you have to get the best look, the best treatment, the best products, the best man, the best girlfriends, and in no time everything will feel like just another project. Don't do that to yourself. In your pursuit to popularity, you are giving the precious chance to understand yourself better and attract people that you actually like. And to me, that's so much more meaningful and sustainable. At the start of this video, I say that this is the guide to popularity the right way. What I really meant is that it's the guide to likability. To be liked by other people, you have to like yourself. And it takes work, okay? But that's how you know that as long as you try, it's possible. And it's so rewarding. And that's all the tea. Thanks so much for tuning in to Debrief Sesh. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. That means a lot to a small channel like mine. See you next time.